Hello, my name's Ed Turner. I'm Curator of Insects in the Museum of Zoology in Cambridge. Now, as part of our campaign to try and get you outside, look through your window and spend a bit more time outside, what I wanted to do today was to introduce you to some of the wildlife that you can find in every garden pond. Now, I don't know if you've got a pond, but if you haven't, now's of course a perfect time to put one in. Or if you haven't got space for that, even just something like a water-filled window box will do it. Things will start moving in and using it that you haven't seen in your garden or green space before. This is my pond behind. You can see it's not particularly massive or anything. What I've done is I've planted a variety of plants that encourage wildlife in. And if you notice, I've also got sloping edges to the pond. And that's to mean that little insects, little beasties can get in and out, newts can climb in and out without getting stuck in the pond. I've also planted it so that it's put it in so it's in a dappled shade. That means it heats up a bit in the summertime, but it's not too hot. So you can encourage in really a huge variety of different life doing just this, just following those simple rules. Now, one of the things I want you to do today is to have a go at pond dipping. So pond dipping for adults, if you like, or a great activity with kids. And there's some very simple kit you can use to do that, to really see some of the huge diversity of life that we're living right in this pond. We've moved in because this is here. First of all, what you need is a net. This is just a little dipping net. Just a health warning with this. If you're using this in different ponds, don't just move it around, because you can sometimes transfer diseases and things or species that you might not want to move around. So what you want to do is clean it thoroughly in between each time you use it in different ponds, and just lay it to dry in the sun for a little while till it's completely dry. And that'll just make sure you're not transferring anything by accident. This one is one I use only in this pond, so we're quite safe. It's only used here. The other thing you need is a tray. It can either be a white tray like this, which is really good for seeing the animals as you pull them out, or you could just use something like a baking tray. That's also fine. So whatever you can find, wash it well afterwards. So first of all, pop a little bit of water on the tray. So put that here. That just means I can keep the animals comfortable. So as you bring them out, they're not going to dry out or anything. I can put them straight into the water, and that means they stay safe and happy. And I'm going to use my net. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a quick dip around, and I'm going to dip into some of the aquatic vegetation to see what I can find. This is a really quick look to show you some of the diversity of life you can find just here. So I've done my best to avoid the frog spawn. I've got lots of frog spawn in my pond at the moment. And just to show you some of the range of things that I've found. Hopefully you'll be able to see some of these. So the first one is here. I'm going to try and keep it on my finger actually, because you can actually see it. My fingers are wet. You can see this. I'm moving around here. This little beastie here, turn him over, is something called a water hoglouse. He's a relative of woodlice and things like that, so he's a crustacean, more closely related to crabs and lobsters than he is to an insect. He's the kind of thing that will be right on the bottom of the water, bottom of the pond, chewing up all that detritus, so really important thing to find, very good for the pond. Pop him back. Ooh. Got several of these in here. Put this one in the water. You can see this floating around. I'll try and bring it to the surface, to the edge closest to you. That is an aquatic water beetle. This is a hydrophilid, which just means water loving. So this is a thing that breathes air. So to be underwater like this, what it has to do is take down a bubble of air with it. And hopefully you might just be able to see a silvery bubble of air underneath its tummy. That's literally air it's brought down from the surface, and it can breathe the oxygen out of that. It also acts as a kind of gas exchange system. So as it uses up oxygen in the bubble, more diffuses in from the water, and it means it can stay underwater for an awful long time. So a really clever adaptation for something that lives on land to live under the water. And it's all happening in your pond. Anything else in here? Don't know if I can catch them. I'll try my best. Quite fast moving these ones. Oops. There you go. Got one for you. See if I can poke it and make it move for you. Oops. See that little thing facing out very fast? That little thing is a fly larvae. You might not be able to see it, I think you can't see it with the camera, but this has got a load of very long hairs on its tails. This is something else that breathes the air. But what this does instead is it has long hairs which are hydrophobic, so they don't like water, so they push apart the water surface, and when it's at rest, it will sit with its bum in the air above the water, and it will really poke the water surface apart with its hairs, exposing breathing tubes, much like a snorkel, if you like, so it can breathe underwater this way. So this is a fly larvae, aquatic as a larvae, but then as an adult it will merge with wings and fly off to find another pond to start the whole thing again. So loads of things living just here in the pond. There's also lots of snails in here as well, so lots of freshwater snails too. So we've got a huge variety of life just right here in this garden pond. So this is the kind of thing that you can look for when you do a bit of pond dipping. Fantastic way of exploring some of the diversity found within your own garden. As I say, if you haven't got a pond yet, spending more time at home might be the perfect time for you to put in a wildlife pond. And I think we're going to provide some links for you to be able to find out more about how you can design your pond with wildlife in mind to get the maximum benefits for it. Okay, well, I'll be back with more posts later on to explore some of the other aspects of wildlife in your garden, but for now I'm going to get on with some more pond digging.